The 2 Point series has long been known for its quirky humor, engaging management mechanics, and distinct art style, and 2 Point Museum is no exception. Following in the footsteps of 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Campus, this new entry takes the tried and true formula to a fresh setting. And if you couldn't figure it out by the title, that setting happens to be museums. While it doesn't break the mold from what 2 Point has offered players in the past, the additions it brings to the series, like Expeditions and Collections, make it a standout title that keeps players hooked. Visually, 2 Point Museum retains the same charming aesthetic as its predecessors. Upon your first load into the game, it immediately feels familiar, making it easy for veterans of the series to jump right in. At its core, the gameplay loop also remains simple yet satisfying. You build out your museum with exhibits, attract visitors who pay for entry, gift shop items, and leave ratings on your museum, use their feedback and earnings to improve and expand, and then rinse and repeat. The campaign offers a well-paced introduction to the game, easing the sense of being overwhelmed with a structured progression. Each level introduces different environments and museum themes, ensuring variety and the ability to keep things fresh. Whether you're setting up a traditional city museum, converting a haunted hotel into a set of spooky exhibits, or building a marine-themed waterfront attraction, each setting presents unique challenges and opportunities. One of 2 Point Museum's standout new features is the ability to send staff on expeditions to retrieve artifacts and exhibits. These can range from a fossilized floppy disk to full-blown dinosaur skeletons, and some exhibits require multiple trips on different expeditions to different regions to complete a full display, adding to the extra layer of depth to the collection process. However, danger lurks as staff may encounter dilemmas such as whether to retrieve an artifact teetering off the edge of a cliff, where the wrong decision could result in a lost team member. And occasionally, staff can go missing entirely, forcing you to hire, train, and build up a replacement. Adding to the fun of it all, the game openly mocks loot box mechanics with an obnoxious animation when expeditions return, reinforcing that signature humor that 2 Point has been known for. Beyond collecting artifacts, keeping the museum running smoothly presents its own set of challenges. Managing staff is key, as employees tend to wander off or take seemingly endless breaks if not properly supervised. Visitors can also present their own set of problems, as families with kids will need entertainment, which means setting up play areas with oddly positioned ladders, while mischievous guests might decide to climb on your exhibits when you'd really prefer they didn't. Security plays a role in the game, but theft, even on the higher difficulty settings, doesn't feel like as big of a threat as it could have been. Running the museum can also get expensive, but mostly thanks to grants, finances never also feel overly restrictive, even on harder difficulties. The real challenge comes from the dealing with Kadosh, which can sometimes be frustrating to earn, but never to the point of breaking the overall experience. Now, while there is a campaign for players, for those who want more creative freedom, 2 Point Museum includes a robust sandbox mode. Players can choose between creative, career, and hardcore modes within it, with the latter increasing difficulty through limited cash, a higher chance of theft, and other obstacles. If you're sticking with the campaign, the progression does carry over across locations, meaning unlocks and inventory persist as you expand your museum empire. This incentivizes returning to previous museums to complete special exhibits, like one requiring both a marine and prehistory expert, or to integrate newly unlocked features like museum tours and small aquarium exhibits. While 2 Point Museum does deliver an overall enjoyable experience, there are a few areas where it could be refined. The inability to expand or adjust the layout of existing buildings is a bit frustrating, especially as space becomes limited. Although adjacent buildings can be added to expand your museum, the lack of flexibility in modifying layouts kind of makes it feel too restrictive. Sure, you can build interior walls, but that's not really the same as what I'm going for. Additionally, the game's user interface could be a bit more intuitive, particularly when unlocking new areas of the map. For instance, progressing in the campaign in a certain area requires reaching Enlightenment level 5, but the game doesn't clearly explain how to achieve this milestone, which can be confusing for some players. Another missed opportunity lies in the security mechanics. While the risk of theft is always present, even at the higher difficulty settings as mentioned earlier, it never truly feels like a significant challenge. A more dynamic security system could have added another engaging layer of management, but these are minor issues in the grand scheme of things that don't really detract from the overall enjoyment, but refining these aspects could elevate the game even further. 2 Point Museum doesn't really revolutionize the 2 Point franchise, but it successfully adapts the beloved formula to a new and entertaining setting. Expeditions and Collections inject fresh gameplay elements, while the humor and accessible mechanics make it enjoyable for both newcomers and seasoned players. Despite a few minor frustrations with building expansion and UI clarity, the game's charm, depth, and variety make it an easy recommendation for anyone. Whether you're uncovering ancient artifacts, dealing with frozen bees and cavemen who, if thawed, cause chaos on your guests, or wondering why Yeti and vampires are visiting a museum, Two Point Museum is an exhibit well worth exploring. For the latest reviews, interviews, and exclusive gaming news you can't find anywhere else, stick with Insider Gaming and visit our website at insider-gaming.com.